Getting one good case study can mean the difference between running the business that you currently run or running the business that you've always dreamed of. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly from A to Z, the exact same process that we use to record all of the case studies that I recorded for myself in my own business. If you're watching this video, you obviously know the power of a good case study, hence why you're searching for it. But chances are that you simply don't know like what questions to ask, how to conduct the call, the stages of the case study, where to post the case studies. And this video is going to answer all of those questions while at the same time giving you my best tip in how you can create what we call a social proof funnel, which single-handedly has been the most powerful marketing asset that I've ever had in my entire life. So without further ado, guys, let's just hop to the computer so that I can show you everything that I have in stock for you guys today. But before we do so, as always, thank you for watching. So guys, as you can see here, this video is going to show you how to record a direct-to-the-neck client case study that converts cold leads into ready-to-buy fans upon consumption, okay? And this is going to be without you needing expensive equipment or becoming the Superman of your market. As always, you can get this document absolutely for free by joining my free community with the link in the description. It's a Facebook group. And as always, make sure to watch this video to speed so that you can move faster, take action faster, and just get what you need, okay? So guys, listen, before we get into the actionable stuff, we need to get crystal clear on what is the goal of the case study in the first place? Because everybody just talks about, oh, I want to have a client case study or a business case study, whatever it might be. And they just think that it's an interview on how your product works. When in reality, it's everything except for what your product does, okay? It's actually more about the experience and what the client feels when they work with you. So that's the first thing we gotta get clear about. Let's just get straight to the point, guys, because the purpose of leveraging a case study or case studies is simply to demonstrate your prospects the likelihood of them also achieving the transformation that you're offering to them. Okay? That's literally it. Nothing else and nothing more. Essentially, what we want to do with a good case study is that if an individual prospect was comparing your solution to one of your competitors with the exact same offer, let's say they're selling, for example, 10 calls in 10 days or you don't pay, the same pricing, let's say you're charging $100 per call, and you have the same target market, let's say that you're offering this to agencies, for example, what the case study will do is simply that they will pick the one that they believe is the most likely to achieve the outcome that they are looking for, okay? In this case, is the pay-per-call model or getting more sales calls booked, okay? So the person that has a case study is the one who wins. But more specifically, is the one that has the most relevant case study according to their unique situation and what their current problems are, okay? So I want to actually just take a brief moment to talk about something that I don't see many people talking about, but if you think about it, when you are on a sales call with a prospect, your prospect is struggling with something, that is their present circumstance, and then they have a future goal or they have some sort of desired outcome that they are looking for, and then what you want to do is position your offer as the bridge they need to take or the vehicle that is going to take them from present circumstance to future circumstance. On the flip side, when you're recording a case study, things invert a little bit because then on the present you have your happy customer, hence why you're recording a case study in the first place, and then what you gotta do with your case study is literally just break down your offer precisely, step by step, word by word, essentially solve the problems that they had in the past, okay? If in the case study is between the present and the future, what you're going to do in the case study is talk between what exactly happened for them to change the dynamics of whatever their life was all about, okay? And of course, this is going to highly depend on what your offer is, your niche, what is it that the outcomes of your offer provide, etc. But hopefully you get my point, okay? On the sales call, present to future. On the case study, present to past, okay? Or past to present, sorry. All right, guys, and the reason why I decided to make this video is because one of my clients inside of ROI Land or Royland, like I call my company, well, was asking me, how can I make a case study for one of my clients? And I just noticed that I didn't have that part in the program, so I decided to make this training, and now I'm looking to share this with you guys, okay? And I decided to make this, of course, because of that reason, but it's literally just disturbing the amount of people that have a case study. They could make a whole bunch of cash from the case study that they have, but they literally just don't know how to do it. And well, since it's my mission to help you guys with my YouTube channel, this is what I'm going to cover on this video. Okay, so let's talk now about the basics of how to record a case study before we talk about the specific stages you want to take action on, okay? And what you want to understand, guys, is that when it comes to recording a case study, you always want to keep it casual and friendly, okay? Because if people get too overexcited, it's going to do more harm than good. And if a prospect is just like jumping and just screaming and talking about how marvelous your offer is or the experience has been, what is going to happen is that it's going to sound a little bit fake in the eyes of a cold call prospect, okay? Of course, you're going to see later on that these case studies, you should post them on YouTube, you're going to distribute them on social platforms. But the reality, guys, is that if you have a cold prospect, they don't trust you, even if they're watching that case study, and they're going to now start to trust you a little bit more. right? But if they don't trust you at all and he's just super excited, it's going to essentially like hit a different nerve than what you actually wanted to hit, right? It might work for your warm audience or for your hot audience, but for cold leads, you want to be a little bit more logical, okay? So that's why you want to keep it casual and friendly so that people don't get or don't have the vibe of it might be a lie, okay? That's the first thing. Number two, whenever possible, demonstrate intimacy with your with your client, okay? Because what is going to happen is that if you demonstrate familiarity, it's going to be obvious that you actually know the person, that the other person trusts you, that you guys have worked or that you guys have maintained some sort of or some level of communication in the past. So what I want you guys to do is, for example, let's say that you're selling a high ticket coaching or some sort of consulting offer, then I want you to talk about some inside jokes about your program. Like maybe a story of another client of yours that was being super friendly to your client who is now recording a case study, so that the prospects actually see that there's some connection and there's deeper stuff that is not only the product, the way you present it on your sales calls or whatever it might be, because that's what is going to make the prospects essentially understand that there's more to it than just the product, okay? Talk about the bad stuff also. For example, if you're selling a lead generation offer, let's say that you booked to your client in the last 90 days 100 sales calls, for example, okay? And let's say that out of those 100 sales calls, 3 were awful, okay? Then you actually want to talk about those 3, like just about those experiences, so that the people who watch the case study go like, these guys are actually talking about everything. These guys are being transparent, not only just about the good stuff, and that makes it feel a little bit more legit in the eyes of a prospect that might be on the fence of buying your stuff, okay? So just want to make that super clear for you guys, because I think that most people just talk about the super fancy stuff that everybody is going to essentially start jumping whenever they hear it. But in my experience, that does more harm than good, because you want to talk about all of the real stuff the way it is, okay? And the last thing, guys, don't shortcut this process, because buyers will watch all of the case study in full. If you can make your case study be 1 or 2 hours long, that's amazing, because the more time you put in, the warmer your prospects are going to get, number one. And number two, guys, I promise you, if you think about the last high ticket coaching program that you booked, or the last whatever expensive stuff that you bought, chances are that you found or that you tried to find all of the case studies at your disposal. And the reason why is because, guys, this is literally the most powerful form of marketing. And you, as any sophisticated buyer would do, you try to make your best decision, your research in whether a specific offer is worth to buy or not. So trust me, guys, the more the better. Don't skip over this. Please do it, okay? So now that we're out of the basics, I want to walk you guys through the 4 stages of a killer case study, okay? And honestly, there are 5 stages. It's just that the first one is just an optional one, and let me just explain, okay? So we have, first of all, the framing and the pre-case study, like an intro that you can do only by yourself. Then you have the intro in itself. Then you have the past situation. You have then the current situation. And at the end, you have the call to action, okay? So let's go one by one so that you understand everything in full. When it comes to the first part, which is the pre-case study, which is optional, what you want to do is, whenever possible, do a 30-second intro saying what the interview is going to be all about. For example, the niche of your client, the problems you solve, the highlights of the interview, etc. Okay, this is something that I generally recommend everybody doing, but specifically, and whenever the client that you were interviewing for whatever reason was like a little bit like nervous, or maybe there was a specific thing that wasn't touched that was super important later on, wherever it might be, you can record this on your iPhone and then you go immediately to the case study. But all you gotta do is say something along the lines of, hey guys, on today's case study, I just want to share how my client Enrique got X outcome in X, Y, and Z time frame. And the reason why I really like this case study is because in the past he used to be doing something like this, now he's doing something like that. But something that resonated the most for me in that case study was when he mentioned something specifically about being able to buy his mom a car, for example. You see, when you actually frame it like that, even if somebody doesn't watch the full case study, they go like, oh shit, man, like this gotta be real. Like there's no way that this is impossible, because he's actually saying it, okay? So it's really important that you tackle that at the beginning, especially if your client, again, didn't touch something that you know that was important, but they didn't share on the case study. And listen, the second part is now officially the intro of the case study, okay? And this is when you have actually the 2 screens and you and your client are talking. You want to, first of all, start by demonstrating familiarity to the listener or the viewer, okay? Like actually making the person know that you actually know what you're talking about and that this is actually going to be a conversation between you and your client, okay? That's super important, because most people screw that part up. But again, trust me, it's super important. And then you want to also add some context to the client's background. You want to make sure that the client specifically specifically tells the audience what is it that they do, what got them involved into that, what they have tried in the past, like essentially like all of the background, like for example, what type of business they are running, the niche, etc. Okay, so that they can actually get some context. Okay, then you're going to go into the meat and potatoes, which is the past situation, like what were they struggling with, and the way you want to go around it is asking a mix of the following questions that I'm going to share with you guys in here. So you want to start off by asking, for example, okay, client, tell me, what were you struggling with exactly before we started working together? They're going to tell you X, Y, and Z. You want to dig deep every single time, like just start to probe every single time that your client tells something that is like relevant to the conversation. Then you want to ask things such as, where are you at in terms of revenue, or in terms of weight, or in terms of dates on a monthly basis? Well, it depends on what your offer is all about, okay? What were you doing to solve the problem that you had in the past? Like, what are the solutions that you were trying to use in order to solve the problem? Did they work? Why? If they worked, why did they work? If they didn't, why they didn't? And also, most importantly, things are almost never black and white. You want to always ask, like, to what level were they working? Because, for example, something that happens time and time again for us is that, I mean, we have a whole, and this is now related to my offer, we actually, one of the funnels that we license and that we co-manage for our clients is a Facebook group funnel, but with paid ads, and where we have phone setters pre-group. Okay, I mean, of course, you can get more info on that on other videos, but people who tried running Facebook groups and didn't get clients, or they get left unseen left and right, they start to feel like Facebook groups don't work. When in reality, Facebook groups do work if you're sending a coaching offer, a marketing agency type of offer, but you gotta do it right. And that's what we actually show our clients. Now, if a client of ours was talking about, hey, I was running the group funnel, but it didn't work, then if I'm going to frame my Facebook group as a solution to those problems in this case study, guess what's going to happen, guys? I need them to talk a little bit more about the specific things we did differently so that the funnel worked, okay? So that's just an example for you to understand the dynamics, okay? It's not like if things work or not, it's just like to what level do they work and what specifically we did so that the things start to actually work for them, okay? That's just an idea and an example, okay? Another thing is like, where did they hear about you and what is it that motivated them to take action? What led them to think that this was the best way to solve a problem, okay? And also, super important, how were you feeling back then? And this is where you want to dig deep and actually stay a little bit more time so that the person is honest with you and starts to break all of the beliefs that all of the people listening to this or watching this case study start to have. Because chances are that your client in the past is literally all of your prospects in the present, okay? So the more they can talk about this feeling and how it felt to them, the most helpful and the most conversion you're going to get from this case study, okay? So that's everything that has to do with the past situation. Now I want to talk about the current situation, okay? Like the present. Once you're done with the past situation, what you're going to start asking is, okay, so tell me, where is it that you're at right now in terms of revenue, in terms of weight, in terms of, again, whatever your offer provides, okay? Like the outcomes of your offer. How do you feel now? Why exactly is this better? And this is super important, guys, the time frame. How long did it take you? Because imagine that somebody said like, oh man, like this is a case study on how I got to 10K per month. And then you realize that, okay, that's a cool outcome, right? But if it took you 10 years, then it's going to be like, okay, maybe it's not going to make that much sense, okay? So that's just an example and stupid. Then you want to start to ask really specific questions, guys. Literally, you want to ask things such as, what precise problems did your offer fix? Or, hey, what did you enjoy the most about the coaching calls? Or, hey, what did you enjoy the most about the YouTube ads and the creatives that we use for your offer? Oh, what did you enjoy the most about the phone setters that we placed on your company? You see, like, you want to be super specific and super detailed about the questions, and you want them to be also as detailed as possible on the answers, okay? Last thing is, like, what are your goals for the future now that the XXX problem that you had in the past is solved? And this is super important because now this is also an opportunity for you to, at the end of the case study, of course, don't do this publicly, you can actually upsell your client on your next level solutions on different or other offers, okay? Because now this is future pacing your client, but at the same time, it's going to open up the doors for your prospects to understand the value of what is possible for them to achieve if they actually buy your stuff, okay? So it's like a win-win scenario. And the last part is just like the call to action, okay? And when it comes to the call to action, guys, this is not a call to action of, okay, guys, so go ahead and book a call. It's a call to action from your client. And you want to literally ask your client the following question. So, Mr. Client, like, what would you say to someone who's on the fence of joining or buying or making a decision towards working with me? And listen, guys, whatever it is that they say, you want to leave it like that, okay? If they are super excited, I mean, congratulations, probably you're a stud who delivers great results. If they said it like, okay, you should do it, but not super excited, that's going to do better than somebody who is like faking it, okay, guys? Trust me on this one. You want to make sure that whatever your client says, you want to leave that as your form of marketing, okay? I want to talk now about where and how to distribute a case study so that you can maximize its efficiency. The first thing and the most obvious one is you want to upload all of this to YouTube and distribute them on the different social media channels, okay? Remember, at the end of the day, this is your best form of marketing. And what I want you guys to know is that, again, you don't want to edit it. You maybe just want to remove the ums and us and whatever it may be. And that's it, okay? Raw is good when it comes to this. And then you want to basically, again, post this on a YouTube video. But most importantly, you want to have a playlist called Case Studies, okay? So right now we have, I don't know, like 8 or 9. And what you want to do with this playlist is, keep this always at the forefront of your marketing. For example, on Instagram, make a post, a highlight, a story, a broadcast. On Facebook, post it on your group, post it on your Facebook page, on your profile, on your featured post. On a BSL, you have one, record a new one if needed. On Twitter, on LinkedIn, etc. Okay. And a pro tip, guys, I want you guys to create, and this is just like the final part of the video so that you can squeeze as much value for this video as possible. I want you guys to create what we call a social proof funnel on Google Docs. Because listen to this, guys, I'm on a mission to make a few $1 million using Google Docs alone, okay? That's why if you join my Facebook group, you're going to see my master resource folder. But most importantly, this is the single most powerful doc ever that I've created. And it's literally just a single Google Doc where I host all of my client wins and my client case studies. And you can see it here. All you gotta do, every single time you get a win, every single time you have a new case study, have this Google Doc in here and keep it at the forefront of your marketing, okay? Literally make a highlight, make a feature post or whatever it might be so that you can keep this, because this immediately makes all of your prospects go like, oh shit, man, like this guy actually knows what he's talking about, number one. And number two, you don't need to be reposting old stories or old wins, which is what a lot of people do, to make new leads or new followers trust your solution. Why? Because this one single doc is dynamic, and then all you gotta do is send all people here, and that's it. You already have like an accumulated document with all of the victories that your clients have received, okay? So guys, that will be it for this video. If you found it helpful, just leave a like, subscribe to the channel, let me know your thoughts in the comments. In call to action time, we actually run a consultancy where we co-manage and install our client acquisition systems, okay? If you run a marketing agency or a coaching business, go to the first link in the description for more info. But outside of that, guys, I hope that this one was helpful, and I hope to see more case studies from now on in the industry, okay? Hope to see you in the next one. Speak soon. Bye.